Yes, continuing on a little bit with the animals. For instance, my rooster and his interaction with the hens, as I observe them, is more or less a standardized operation. And in other words, they have no laws or rules that they set for them. It's just what comes from within them. And so if we could be born into this planet and start fresh like that without rules, we could operate from this inner being totally, at least without any feeling of restrictions. But we're not that way. We're born into societies and cultures that already have rules and regulations. So my question to you is, how can we balance this innate, or what I'll call a natural, drive toward our sexual experiences, balance it against the unnatural mores or the rules or the regulations that have been propagated among our associates in this culture that we're sharing in?
We are appreciating very much your observation of your beasts, because they are pure essence of being. In other words, you are right, they are not hindered by the laws and rules that are offered with such variety that you are hindered with. Instead, they are responding from their pure essence, from their broader knowing. Not all of the beliefs that you hold are detrimental to your experience, but you have so many beliefs that are not even in harmony with one another, as you have been collecting and gathering data from here and from there. And those beliefs that are not in harmony with each other, or those beliefs that are not in harmony with your desires, result in a sort of splitting in your energy. You feel it as a resistance, and so very often you take your action from that place of resistance, or from that place of not being in balance, where the animals that you are describing are not having that experience. They are, when we say they are operating from the pure essence of their beingness, what we are meaning is that all of their thought is going in one direction, and so they are very much in the flow. And that is what all of you are seeking. It is just that you do not know how to go about it.
Right.
Let us say that you are born into a culture that has very explicit ideas about sex. Not everyone agrees, but the majority have a rather clear idea of how you should behave regarding this topic. And you hear them, and you respect them. You are law-abiding and all of that, but you find that your natural urge does not agree. That urge is a desire, and when your desire and your beliefs are going in two different directions, it is frustrating to you. In fact, it feels as if there is a tug of war going on inside. And truly, there is. To resolve this, what we would encourage is that you find your balance, or make a decision that you're wanting to find your balance. And you do that by not trying to figure out what to do. That is on the outside fringe of all of this. But instead, you give your attention to how you are wanting to feel. The center of your being is the way you are feeling or being. And so we would encourage you to stop and ponder. I am wanting to do that which is good. That is what most of you are seeking. And I'm wanting to be an uplifter. I'm wanting to be in alignment with that which I consider to be good. Now, once you have made that statement, which is at the very core of your being, then contemplate the action that you are considering. And if that action brings forth within you, or the contemplation of it brings forth within you a feeling of frustration, then we would encourage you not to move forward in your action. In other words, listen to your guidance. We never encourage that you move forward from the position of frustration or from the position of negative emotion, because you are out of balance, and that action is only going to take you further out of balance.
So what if the thought of the action feels very good, but the thought of someone else's judgment about the action doesn't feel good? Then what would you suggest?
Now you are off the track again. Now you are trying to utilize all of the laws or all of the approval that is set up by your society to guide you. And that never works.
Okay.
You see, if you are in a very small community or surrounded only by your parents, perhaps you could find your peace under that sort of thing. But the broader your experience and the more exposure you have to more ideas, then the more confusing it is and the more difficult it is to find approval in your society. Because your society is always, or different segments of your society are always looking at things in different ways. And we're wanting to reemphasize that the majority of what your society believes you should do has not come from your society wanting you to have joy or growth or freedom. It has come from your society's fear that your action may somehow step upon its toes, you see. And so it is necessary for you to find your peace regarding anything, to set aside your wanting to find approval from others, and your seeking approval from self. You're seeking your own guidance from yourself. And the way you go about that is starting from the inside out, acknowledging that you want to feel good, and acknowledging that you're wanting to have a life experience that is in harmony with your idea of what good is. And if you start there, it is our absolute promise to you that you will never find yourself in a situation where the action that you are experiencing or even contemplating will put you in a position of feeling that you have betrayed your own sense of right and wrong.